everybody. Today I want to talk about Scorpio energy and also touch on the Chiron wounded healer transcend Aries that we're also having now. Today's a full moon in Scorpio, but I just want to talk about this energy in general because it's just something that I've been thinking about personally, and I think it's a sign that a lot of people misunderstand. All the signs have, their stereotypes and everything. And the Scorpio energy's biggest stereotype, I guess, would be people would be associating it with sex, since it's connected to reproductive organs. But Scorpio rules so much more than that. It rules secrets, rules, it's related to psychology, anything taboo, so like occult, spiritual, mystical practices, death, rebirth cycles, death itself, physical death, but also, like I said, death, rebirth cycles, like in the mind, letting go of old thoughts, letting them die and be transformed to a higher state through the experience that you gain from analyzing your pain. Scorpio also deals with pain. It deals with power. A lot of times when you hear people talk about Scorpio, another stereotype is that there's possessive and there's this need for power. So there's a lot of negative things or like scary things associated with it. But I want to talk about it because, especially when it comes to the traits of power and intensity, because we're living in a time where a lot of people have been disempowered for various reasons. A lot of people of color have been disempowered, a lot of women have been disempowered, and so the Scorpio energy and knowing it in your chart really can help you understand where you can gain a sense of power and where your intensity is. Me personally, I have my Venus in Scorpio, and even though I have my Pluto in Scorpio too, but I don't have any other personal planets besides Venus in Scorpio. And it's important, very important for me because I'm a Libra sun. So whatever your sun sign is, it's important to look at the planet that naturally rules over that sign to gain more insight on how your sun's energy may be manifested, how your consciousness may be manifested. And so with me being a Libra sun, I have to look at Venus to gain more clarity on how my consciousness is manifested. And so with my Venus being in Scorpio, it definitely influences me a lot. The intensity that comes with this placement is something that I've been processing throughout my life. It's very serious because of the fixed water nature. It's a lot of fixed emotions and really diving deep and peeling back the layers of emotions, going deeper and deeper to get to the root and raw root cause of issues. And it can make for a very passionate person. I'm a very passionate person. I'm very serious about the things that I'm passionate about, and I'm always taking things very seriously. I also have Moon opposed Saturn, which is also why I take things seriously, but this Venus in Scorpio is also part of it. And so a lot of times people shunned me for my intensity, for the intensity of my ideas, the things that I wanted to bring into the world, just even taboo things. Like, for instance, occultism, African spirituality, those things are seen as taboo for some people. Even, unfortunately, mental health is still seen as taboo for some people. I feel like the Pluto and Scorpio generation is changing that and making it more known. But basically, Scorpio is whatever is so intense and feared and secret. That's what it can be in a nutshell. And these secrets and these intensities provide us with a basis that we can use for our transformation. And instead of being afraid of these parts of ourselves, we can be vulnerable with ourselves and really unlock where we have power. We've associated power with something evil or something bad, and that's because a lot of what we've seen in our society and been conditioned to believe is that the people who have had power historically did bad things with it. Therefore, the power is bad. So when we start seeing our power or our gifts, it could be a musical thing, it could be a spiritual gift, it could be a gift for being able to organize things, a database, whatever it is, we're like, oh my God, I'm not supposed to have that much power, or we kind of like stand away from it, and then it goes unexplored, or doesn't reach its full potential. And we have to look at that. There was a quote that I remember from being a kid and watching the Akilah and the Bee movie that had Keke Palmer in it when she was younger, and it was saying that it's from a poem. I'll find it and put it in the description box when I'm done. It says, our greatest fear is not that we are like weak. Our greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. I didn't understand that. And I was like, growing up, I didn't get it. I didn't get it until very recently. Like this past year of me, last year, 23, I turned 24 last year, and just further into 24 now, that we are afraid of our power. We are afraid of our intensity because of people not understanding that power doesn't equal something being bad. And we're living in a time right now where we need to tap into our powers to transform a dying society, a society that's kind of decaying, which is Scorpio Energy, death, decay, purification, and transformation. And it really depends on us. And this is where I'm going to bring in the Aries energy. So Aries and Mars is a planet that was associated with war, assertion, leadership. And in some places it wasn't always associated with war, it was associated with growth of spring in the northern hemisphere and stuff like that. But it's always about initiating something, starting something new. And so leadership has been assigned to it in that way. All the fire signs lead in some type of way. Leo does this too, but in terms of like literally Aries being the first sign and things of that nature, and it being fascinated with identity and itself and taking charge, it's been associated with leadership. And the Chiron and Aries transit that we're having right now forms a quincunx with the Scorpio energy. Aries forms a quincunx of Scorpio, and I think I may have said this, but if I forgot to mention it, Scorpio's traditional ruler is Mars, so it shares a planet, it shares rulership with Aries, and then the modern ruler is Pluto, which is what people perceive as more as like the death and destruction and decay, transformation, healing transformation that happens, because death is just a transition to a different state. That's not really an end. It's an end to a certain way of being, and like taking that energy and putting it in a new way of being. Very alchemical energy. So if we think about Scorpio and Aries when it comes to leadership, Scorpio isn't really known for leadership that much, but it represents what we need to lead. You kind of need power in order to lead. And the low vibration of Scorpio feels like the only way to get power is to take it from someone else, or this is where you get the stereotypes of possession and possessiveness. But you can also get power by tapping into your wounds, your things that need to die and decay and be transformed, and getting wisdom from those experiences, and allow that to be your power. And so where you have Scorpio, what house you have Scorpio, will show where this depth takes place, where this deeper exploration takes place, where you have ability to transform things. And I snapped, but it doesn't always happen fast. The start of it may happen fast because of the intense nature of Scorpio, like the way you become awakened to what needs to be healed may happen fast in an intense way, but the process, since Scorpio's fixed, takes a while. So when you are in a world that is changing and shifting, you have to do things in new ways. And in the past, we often, would look to a hero or a leader to kind of like save us, right? Whether it's Jesus, whether it's a religion, or it could be a figure. Folks like MLK, Malcolm X, these people who were leaders, who did great work, who I very much admire. But what happened to them? They got killed. A lot of the leaders got killed, or they got exiled to another country and they're on lockdown or whatever it is, right? So we're in an age where with this Chiron and Aries energy, you have to be a leader yourself, for your community, for the people, for your family, for your friends, for your community. Everybody has to be a leader. And you cannot be an effective leader if you don't know what your power is, if you don't know where you come out in an intense way, if you don't know where. Don't be afraid of feeling like you're too intense. You will find the people who understand you in time. You will find the people who relate to you and your ideas in time. But you have to have that courage to stand out there and be yourself, which is Aries, and not always hide all the time. Scorpio is very secretive, and it hides, and it thinks that, okay, well, if I keep everything to myself, this knowledge or whatever it is, then I'm the one with the upper hand, and I'm the one who has this the power. And if I let my veil down and let people see me, then my power's gone. And that's not necessarily true. There's always going to be various secrets and various things that you'll keep to yourself that no one needs to know about. But there are some things that you have learned through your alchemical experiences and your transformative experiences, or that you can learn if you begin that process, that you can use to help you become a better leader and help you to connect with others and teach others how to strengthen themselves, how to empower themselves. So just think about that. And sorry, y'all, I got cut off. But another thing that I wanted to say is Scorpio represents loyalty and devotion. That is a higher vibration instead of using possessiveness and control. We, people with Scorpio placements, we are very passionate about the things and people we care about, and thus we're very loyal to them. So when people are like, oh, ride or die and all this type of stuff, that is actually Scorpio energy. Are you willing to commit to yourself or commit to the ideas or the causes that you're passionate about, or wherever Scorpio is in your chart? Are you able to be loyal to that, to reap the benefits of the healing transformation that takes place there? Are you willing to go all the way in for yourself, or for, if you're working on a cause, for whatever cause that is? Scorpio does not do lukewarm. We are all the way in on something or just not there. We need to have balance in our lives, but we also need to have this area where we can go fully dive in, you know, without worrying about labels, how it's going to be perceived by others, which is why Scorpio is associated with taboo, where we can release chains and get freedom, you know? And so really think about that. What are you loyal to? What do you commit to? What in your life is something that you've been stepping away from it because you know it's going to require a lot of you, you know? And you've been kind of lukewarm around it. And you don't have to dive in deep if you're not ready. You can pace yourself and prepare for that, but know that that's out there for you and it will be eventually addressed at some point. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you for listening. If I get more insights, I'll share some more. I probably will. And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And coming this weekend. And in where I'm from, in Africa, it's Mother's Day every day. But you know. Also, thank you to, in our culture, mothers are anyone who takes care of kids, even if they don't have their own biological children. So we see y'all. Thank you.